I've kind of stopped mourning the things that I won't ever do or the things I won't ever be in the future. I've stopped worrying about what it is that I'll miss, what it is that I won't ever experience, because someone else gets to do it. Someone else gets to be it.
Mm.
And it's like I'm living vicariously through everybody else.
Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Going Out, Looking In, the podcast about the big questions of life, personal growth and spirituality. My name is Maxi, I'm your host, and I'm very excited to bring you this one. And that is because I'm speaking with one of my favorite singer-songwriters out there today, and that is Luca Fogale. I'm so excited. That's so cool. So, for all of you who are following the podcast and listen to the previous episodes, especially the live podcast we did with Vince, know that I was talking about a concert where I went up to the artist to thank him and to express my gratitude for the awesome show that we just received. Now, this artist was Luca when he was playing in Berlin. And so after I expressed my gratitude, and it was so lovely received by him, I was asking him if he would be interested to come on to the podcast. And gladly he said yes. And so a couple of weeks later, we got together and recorded this conversation, and I couldn't be more happy and proud and moved by it. Such a beautiful person, such a gentle, tender, heartfelt, loving, caring individual that was really special. The music of Luca has moved me in so many ways, and I'm sure that'll do exactly the same for and with you. I'll make sure to feature some of the songs during and throughout the episode, so get ready, put your headphones in, and go on a walk with this episode and enjoy the conversation, enjoy the music, enjoy the vibe, because it is a vibe. And it's just like the perfect extension of music and words, spoken words and thoughts that are emanating and coming really from the deepest part of Luca's being, which he then pours into the music that we can all receive and hear. And I was really I'm just so thankful that this happened and it turned out the way that it did. And so there's not much more to say. We talked about many different topics: self-love, unconditional love, love in general, self-worth, feeling worthy, Luca's songwriting process, the relationship between thinking and feeling. So much more. I would just say, start listening to it and enjoy it. Thank you so much also to Luca for coming on, and that's all I can say right now. Thank you so much for listening, guys. If you enjoy what we're doing here, you know what to do. Follow the podcast, forward it to people you think might resonate. Give the 5 stars and the ratings, and just help spread the message. Really means a lot. Thank you so much. And I wish you so much fun and beautiful insights and some heartfelt emotion with this episode and Luca Fogale.
Blood rushing in, rhythm is torn, the floor is giving out, dragging me home, and somebody fading, moved in the grass, like just for a second, a decade had passed. So bend the rules or break them all. You and I, the same old cloth. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. And I'm caught in the balance, the wind taking hold. So sit for a while and burn out the cold. I guess I was the killer and you were the cave, 'cause you open your eyes and I'm already saved. So bend the rules or break them all. You and I, the same old cloth. Bend the rules or break them all. Lights blown out and curtains cold. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. Yes, you. Yes, everything. Yes, all there is, or nothingness. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. That I want, that I want, that I want, that I want. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. That I want, that I want, that I want, that I want. Oh, oh, oh. You're the one, you're the one, you're the one, you're the one. That I want, that I want, that I want, that I want.
So first of all, I want to just acknowledge your time and the willingness for you to come on, and it's very generous and great. I'm very thankful, and I was looking forward to this conversation big time since we met. So
Me too, Maxi. Yeah.
it's
It's my
very,
pleasure
very
to be
nice.
here. Yeah, thanks so much for having me on.
Yeah. So that's really It's really, really special because, especially with music, it does so much for you for also a long period of time. It can be, and I've been listening to you for many years. So there's certain destinations, there's people, people, places, circumstances that I connect to your craft, your words, the people you collaborated with, and I have like a little story to that. So basically, sure. And this is synchronicity at its absolute finest, the universe merging everything in absolute perfect order. Because, so yes, I'm getting rid of the apartment and I'm gonna move away, and as it seems, I'm moving to a beautiful island on the northern tip of Germany. Wow. It's called Sylt, and I want to spend the summer there because I have such a need to work with my hands, to do something physical again, and to be in touch with humanity, with people. And after so many years of me just looking at a screen, and
I know what that's like, for sure.
And so that's actually where I discovered your music, on that island.
Oh, you're kidding.
Yeah. So I was sitting in a barber shop. I was waiting in the barber shop, and it was a long queue. So they gave me the Wi-Fi. So I was just like going all in YouTube, and I was like, okay, well, I'm going to use the time. And Unfolding came up, the music video you did for Unfolding.
Oh, sure.
And just the thumbnail already, and then Unfolding was like, I don't know, it just did something with me. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna click on that. And then it was just, I was like, wow, this is really special.
Thanks, man.
This is really special. And I love the video as well, very much. It was resonating, like the message of Unfolding, or like, I don't know what your message is, but what I received was resonating with me back at that time. And now, years later, I'm a changed man, and there's like a lot of stuff, it's different in my life. However, I'm relating to the same song, like in a different way, but it still like hits home for me. Wow. And so out of that grew my whole love also for Mark, who did the video with you.
Incredible, yeah.
And Mary Kate, and all of that. So that sent me down the rabbit hole of their podcast and their endeavors. Sure. And so there's so much that this video and then your music introduced to my life.
Wow.
Thank you, man.
Incredible. Thank you. Yeah, it's amazing when someone connects once, but to know that you've connected over the span of a few years, and it's resonated with you in different parts of your life in different ways. I mean, 'cause that's what the music that I love, that it does for me, right? I've been listening to it for 10, 20, 30, not 30 years, but so to know that it spanned that means a lot to me, Maxi. Thank you.
Let me out. The wires are showing. Sleight of hand is slowing. Everything explained. Further now from anything absolving. Nothing left to solving. Nothing left to say. In time and space, any part of this still holding. I am not breaking, I am not broken, I am unfolding. I am not breaking, I am not I am unfolding. Settle in the ordinary sequence. Scatter all your reasons and leave the rest behind. Lost to win everything believed in. Trust the sense to bleed in. Carry to the light. In time and space, every part of this still holding. You are not breaking, you are not broken, you are unfolding. You are not breaking, you are not broken, you are unfolding. You are not breaking, you are not broken, you are unfolding. You
That team was amazing. It came together pretty fast and last minute, and we didn't really know what was going to happen. And they just, Marcus, he's right here. He's so present and so connected, and it was a beautiful day. I'm really happy with how that's one that I'm really happy with. You know, even now, even looking back, and wow, what a story! I love that. And so that was in a beautiful place, but in Ireland, in a bit north of Dublin. And I still think about that place. I'd love to go back there.
What was the intention of going into this music video shooting?
Just trying to, I mean, the same as I always hope for, is that because I'm not a very visual person, the visual mediums don't really make sense to me until I see them, whether it's, cover shoots or videos or visuals, or I can't really picture anything ever. I can kind of get the feeling that I want to try and communicate, but Mark and I just talked over email for a while about the song, and he pitched a few ideas and showed me some photos of Sally Gap. That's where we shot. And it was sort of just like, let's just try and do something. And you just, you close your eyes and sing, as I usually do. And they really just understood the feeling that I had in that song and what I wanted to try and communicate. And in regards to intention, it's hard for me to communicate anything to anyone that's a visual thing. And so when there's someone who that's their medium, or they have a strong connection to visual content in the ways that I don't, as long as I can talk to them for, or talk their ear off for an hour, then it usually comes to fruition. And I feel like I've gotten so lucky with every video we've ever done, where somehow we've just connected to people who really care and really try. And so I love so many of the videos that we've made with different teams of people. And there's so many people who are just trying to communicate and trying to align with the music, and more than I thought people would. You know, I would think that, oh, you get hired to do a video and you just say, okay, it's, you know, I'm getting X amount of money and we'll make it look really nice. And then, but the amount of people I've worked with who have really tried to make this song into a video, you know, create video for audio in the purest sense. Yeah, I feel so fortunate. It's amazing. So that one in particular was just gorgeous. So
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, beautiful. Yeah, it comes across. You see like a very high vibration, and the consciousness level of this whole piece as it comes together was really, it's like it's a union. It's a finished, a round project. It's a round thing. And still there's so much room and so much. Yeah, it's just like, yeah, because now I know the people behind it, and I know like what they are involved with, and so that they bring, each and every one of them brings in their vibration, and it raises the whole thing up, and this is the beauty of collaboration as well, I think.
Of course, yeah. Absolutely, yeah. Yeah.
And this is actually a very nice segue into something that I wanted to ask you as well, and that is collaboration. So I'm all up for those kind of like moody voiceover videos of artists where they go deep into their like creative process, and you have one of those out, you know, with Nothing Is Lost, and like for me this is like, I love that. I could watch like videos like that for days. And I love the stories behind, and I love this, also what the film is then bringing, and then the music is coming together, and you are able to really share from the heart, and really beautiful. And so the sense I got, and also now I'm seeing you in this very room where you create, it seems, this is the feeling I got, like a very serene, very also maybe, may I say, isolated place or quiet place. And so I was wondering how you are relating to collaboration, how you are relating to writing on your own, creating on your own. Where are you with that right now?
Yeah, that's a good question. It's a question I have myself as well. Sam Lynch directed that video, who is also an incredible singer-songwriter, just and does video in addition to that. And we wanted to try to capture. I think I say it in the video that I've spent so much time right here. So it's, maybe this is the basement of the house that I live in. It's maybe 400 square feet down here, and it's, as you can see, like a 70s remodel with the wood paneling. But I moved in here maybe 10 years ago, and it was just kind of a basement. And I was like, oh, that'll be enough space to do what I want to do and have my pianos and all the cases. And it slowly turned into something that it feels like an extension of myself down here. And once in a while, once every couple of years, I'll kind of rearrange the furniture down here. But yeah, it feels like it's become so much a part of my, when I think about music, I think about this room. And I think it's very quiet. It is definitely isolated. I think it's definitely transferred itself into the way I make music, and especially working really late at night, and especially on my past recordings when I was figuring a lot of things out and just experimenting, and I'd stay up till the middle of the night and recording music while my partner or my roommates were sleeping. And so through that time I did everything on my own, and then I had a friend who I trusted help me with my first album, Safety, my friend Sam. We made most of it down here, and but I would always still take the songs, and it was almost like I had to have the last word on it. I think it was just someone who I was feeling, anxious about creating music that was mine and putting it into an album. And so I had to kind of micromanage everything and have it and listen to it for hours on end and just look at it and never work on it and just stare at it and change things by 1% of 1%. And so I got into a habit of feeling as though if it was going to be my music, it had to be me that was working on it, and only me for a while. And so after that album, I started to work on music just on my own, and got into a cycle of kind of spiraling on ideas in a way that I don't want to carry forward anymore. I think that I don't know. It's kind of hard for me to describe. I haven't talked about this much, but it's as though music informs the way I live, and then the way I live informs my music, and back and forth. And so I around after my first record I put out, I went through a breakup, and I stopped seeing my friends so much, and was working on music by myself, and I kind of started to just spin into ways of that it was always me. It was just me doing everything. It was me going out to eat. It was me, watching a movie. It was me working on music. It was me, cleaning the house. I wanted to do everything myself. And that's when I was writing the songs on Nothing's Lost, and got into this incredibly hard habit to break where everything ended up on my shoulders. And it was completely, self-inflicted. And so I've been actively trying to break that. This is a long-winded way to answer your question, but I've been actively trying to stop doing that. Trust people and give up some control, and even to write songs. There was this for Run with the Light Calls, the latest record. It was the first time I had other people co-writing. And so there was 2 songs on that record that I had some help writing, and I love them, and they totally feel like me. And I had some people help produce the songs, and I love them, and they totally feel like me. And so I'm trying so hard to trust people with my songs these days, and so I haven't spent much time down here lately, and it feels really good. I'm I played piano just before I jumped on the call, just to kind of reconnect with music. I haven't played music in about a week, and it felt really good. But I think I'm sort of graduating from this room. I'd love to go somewhere else, and I kind of been thinking about that the last few weeks. That I think I don't know. This space is quite symbolic to me of the past, and so I think that I'm going to leave it behind pretty soon.
Yeah.
Kind of think about that a lot lately.
Yeah. Emanates a certain vibe, a certain feeling, even for me as a recipient of the music. I can hear it in the music. I can see it on the video. I can hear it in the lyrics as well, in the stories. And this is also something, I think your work is very, I know very few artists where I really get this, it is very intentional, everything that you're doing. So whenever I'm coming in touch with you in whatever shape or form, that's now that we have met in person. It's also this level, this dimension. It is virtually and on social media, like every photo, every story, every video. Then the music itself, obviously, the artwork to the music, the videos. So it's all it emanates a certain, also introspection. And yes, maybe that's also, this is now very personal, this is what connected so much with me, because I see myself in that. I can be unbelievably extrovert, and I have no problems reaching out to people and talking to them. And at the same time, I'll be spending weeks and months by myself, going to places like a monastery to just meditate and be for myself. And so this is what drew me in so much to your music. And when I was preparing for the interview, I saw a lot of comments and a lot of people also, when I'm looking in the crowd of the people at your shows, yeah, I may go on a limb, but like they look like people who also in some way for sure resonate with that part, with this really like holding, like pausing and looking inside and being with oneself to then see what do I have to say, what do I have to share from a deep place. Yeah, so that's actually not even a question, but yeah.
No, it's I hope so. You know, thanks for saying all that, Maxi. I think about that a lot, you know, and intention and I get kind of worried about how much there is in this world, how much, content and music and I worry that I'm trying to, it's a habit that I'm trying to break, not to not be making songs with intention, but I get worried about just adding to the noise. I worry about that. I worry about making a song just to have a song to release or making one of the reasons why I have trouble with social media is just because I don't always have something to say,
Yeah.
If I don't see someone in a day or don't have my phone, I'm quiet most of the day, and so when I do, I feel like when I do make something, I don't write a lot of songs. The songs that I write end up on my recordings. I don't write extra songs, it's, and so when I talk to other songwriters sometimes and they say, oh yeah, we had 50 songs for the record and then we narrowed it down to 10. I cannot imagine that. It's so alien to me. And so for me, if I write a song, if I finish writing a song, you're going to hear it. It's going to come out because that's the one song that I wrote over the course of 2 months. And so because of that, every single word matters to me so much, because I don't have, always a lot of things to say on social media. Everything I post has this weight to it that is so, not suffocating, but it's, there's a gravity to, I feel like when I choose to put something out into the public, it has to have a certain gravity to me. It has to mean something. Because I don't know. I don't know if there's another way for me to conduct myself, but I recognize that I would like to have a bit more brevity in the things that I do. I'd like to have, be able to just try something and put it out and say, I worked on this for a couple of days and so here it is. Let me know what you think. Even saying that, my heart rate starts to increase because there's like, I'm always working on everything, but it's the pace at which I work is definitely controlled by that feeling that there has to be a certain weight to everything before you choose to share it. Because I value people's attention a lot. I don't want to waste anyone's time or attention or waste an opportunity to speak or And so if you're going to put my song on, I really hope it connects with you. I don't just want you to listen to it and then move on to the next thing. I want to make sure that those 3 minutes of your life that I took up are really important. Not in any sort of narcissistic way. It's just that, it's almost I'd rather you not listen at all. Does that make sense?
It makes, to me, it makes perfect sense.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't come off in
No.
any sort of self-centered or
No.
negative way. It's more about I worry about taking up space. I think I always have, even since I was a kid. But so that's found its way into my songs. And again, maybe a habit that I should look at and try to.
Yeah, I'm not so sure about it, man. Because it makes you really stand out. There is, and like, I also don't want to, like, there's certainly people who may even listen to even more music and do even more, but I think I'm listening to a fair bit of music, and I've been making music my whole life as well. I know a lot of people who are making music professionally full-time. Some very successful songwriters are friends of mine, very close. So I've worked in the business as well. So like there's a lot of, just personal connections to just music and artistry, but then also like this whole distribution behind it and management and business side of things. And so I had so many conversations with artists around what to put out, when to put it out, what is the intention behind it and whatnot. And I can honestly say, and like if I would drop names, then I don't know, it would go a little bit sideways, but like
No, that's okay.
Yeah, but there's artists, I'm telling you, who they want nothing more than be honest. Mm-hmm. At the end of the day, they want what you have and what you do. They want to sit in a room by themselves, write a song and put it out. Mm-hmm. That's what they want. And the machinery and the whole apparatus that they have built around them sometimes prohibits them from doing the most simple thing, which is just like, asking yourself what's alive within, sitting down and writing that, and sharing that.
Yeah. And
so I'm standing on the sidelines and I'm cheering you on to never give that up, because this is so special, man. And like I said, many people are longing for it. Also for people like on the receiving end, like, because yes, when you carry a certain depth to you, and this is also what Mike Posner said once, your music can only be as deep as you are as a person. And so this is why, like, I want to also talk to you, because I know from your music, I don't know, this is not like you're just not you carry that gravity, and this is like what really interests me.
Thanks.
So
it's I definitely recognize it. I have an unbelievable opportunity to just keep making music. I recognize my good fortune. Just to do what I do and spend the amount of time thinking and sitting at the piano, and it's one of the first things I think about when I wake up. Is I almost can't believe it, that this is my life. And of course it takes its twists and turns, but it's one thing that never leaves my mind, is how incredibly fortunate I am just to spend the time that I spend talking and thinking about things, and thinking about, looking in the mirror and wondering what it is that's important to me. And I'll tell you, Maxi, in regards to depth, and just to share this with your listeners, after talking to you at the Berlin show, I left thinking, I wonder if that guy is as present in every conversation in his life as he was with that one. That was one of the more profound conversations I've had in a very long time with you. And so just the feeling is mutual to be speaking with you today. I can picture it clear as day. And I talk to a lot of people at shows. And so, yeah, it impacted me, Maxi. So I thank you for your presence. It was profoundly affecting to talk to you. And yeah, because so your gift in that, or maybe it's gift, maybe it's that you try and you really care. But whatever it is, I thank you for it, because it, yeah, I could be standing right there with you right now. So it's very clear in my mind.
That means a lot. Thank you. Really, I fully received that. And it's funny because the friend who was with me at your show, the reason why he was here was because 2 days after we did like this live podcast recording here in this room with Vince, and it was also very shortly after the breakup happened, and so there was a lot going on for me. And it's funny because I actually mentioned that encounter also on the podcast with Vince, because we were talking about random acts of kindness and being present, and also for me as a part of like maturing from boy to man, to get out of my own way and look for ways that I can serve also in this world. And so like random acts of kindness is not just a bumper sticker, also, as Vince said. And so we talked about like when I was approaching you, and because like the narrative and the thoughts that were present at the time also for Tim and myself were, because we were waiting until nearly all of the queue was basically all of the people talk to you. And then I was like, okay, what can I add as the 50th person to tell you, like your music's beautiful, your music's great, I like you, I love you. And so, but at the same time, I was like, no, of course, like it's first of all what I say, but then it's also, I guess, like how I say it. And all that Vince said is basically, because it was a lot about, we talked about self-worth, we talked about what we desire, why we are doing what we are doing. And so he's like, yeah, I mean, what do you think? He doesn't do it only for the chicks and the money. He wants to be seen, and he wants to be heard. And if people genuinely do that, then I think, this is really, you have an impact, and every one of us has that impact. And so I would, so I want to really actually turn it into a question for you. Like, so when you are on that stage, what's the most nourishing part of playing those shows for you?
I don't know if it's any specific one thing, but the biggest thing is definitely that I've had so many conversations with people after shows, or online afterwards, and so I know who's out there when I play. So even if I don't get to, I can't always talk to the audience. I mean, the shows over here are a little bigger than in Europe, and so I can't. It would take a little while after the shows to talk, if I wanted to talk to people here. And so kind of at the stage in Canada where I can't really go out there anymore. And also with, flus and COVID and stuff, it's still, I mean, not COVID anymore. I mean, it's just, it's a risk during touring.
Sure.
But I know who's out there now. My audience has gotten more specific. That I think that most people who come to my shows now know what kind of show they're going to. Whether it's a solo show like in Europe or a band show like we just did here. My audience is smaller, but it's definitely so engaged. it's continually unbelievable. And I'll hear it from the support acts, like the people who are opening the show. They, without fail, come back to the green room and go, "Oh my God, the audience is amazing. They're so engaged." And I keep going, right? I know, it's bizarre that the audience, again, it's not this, I'm not filling up stadiums or whatever, but the people who are there are just right here. So I know that now. And so even if I don't get to go out into the audience after the show and speak to people, and I know who's there and I know why they're there. I know that, all the different ranges of reasons why they could be at a show. Most people really, at least the people I've talked to, have like really thought about it and like listen to the songs and say, I want to go to this show and I'm going to listen. And yeah, so I think it's that. I know who's there. I read a quote, I'm not sure what it was, a tweet or something, and it said, there must be some amount of narcissism wrapped up in wanting to be on a stage playing songs. And I think that could be true, that maybe it's kind of some kind of self-importance or something, but I thought about it for a while, and I think that when I started out playing in open mics and coffee shops and stuff, there'd always be at least one person who would come up afterwards and say with really sincere thought, like, "Thank you, I really liked your songs," to the point where it made me want to do it more, where I was like, oh, that person understands me. And so I don't know, I've never really had aspirations to be on huge stages. I just want to keep playing songs to people. It's not really about, obviously, like, I'm going in a bit of a circle here, but I just think about, like, what is the reason I do it? And I think the reason is the people in the past, the people who have come to the shows, the things that they've said to me. I think without that, I wouldn't be doing this anymore. I think if I finished because I used to play in bars, I used to play like cover songs for people who were just out for a night and the place needed music, so they'd pay me $50 and I'd play Van Morrison for a few hours. And I couldn't do it, and I stopped doing. I continually get like, they wouldn't call me anymore because I was just the wrong person for the job, but also that I was just I would have been a real drag to listen to because I wasn't connecting with anything about it. And so I'm sure that came through, and so good on them for not calling me back. But now that I get to play my songs and people are there for it, and they have been over the past, maybe 8-9 years, that I know who's out there now, and so I just want to keep singing to them. I want to keep sharing songs with them. It's and it's, if it's like this for the rest of my life, I'll be thrilled.
Yeah.
I don't know. The big stages, though, they don't really, it's not the most important thing to me. I just want to keep doing it because I know who's out there, and it makes me grow as a person, makes me more thoughtful, makes me value attention and a chance to have a voice and try to connect with somebody. So I'm way past your question now, but
no, you take it wherever you want it. It's so beautiful.
Thanks.
That's why I'm always asking very openly, because I never know where the people are going, and we are co-creating. So when what came up for me when you were talking is something that I had also discussed with one of my best friends, who is actually a professional singer-songwriter, and he talked a lot about the importance or the necessity of some level of suffering, some level of pain, in order to create something of what we talked earlier about gravity, something like like a surface for projection of the audience where they can see themselves in. And so I really wanted to speak to you about this. How do you feel about this? What is your personal experience with this relationship of personal suffering or hardship and creating, maybe it being a necessity?
I think it's a necessity for some kinds of art. You know? Because I think that it informs us, right? And suffering doesn't, hardship doesn't. And I think for a long time when I was kind of struggling as a musician, trying to start out, and I would get, when I'd hear a really positive song, something that felt like affected by nothing, like a really positive, beautifully happy song, I would say, there's no way that that's a song about something that feels real. Unabashed joy, that sort of thing. It would make me kind of upset because I felt at first that art is created out of like darkness. And I don't think that's true anymore. I think that some things are, in the way that people are, you know. Some people can, I mean, we all have things that happen to us that are I don't know, difficult and challenge us and, you know, break us and whether it's early in our lives or later in our lives, or maybe you go through a good span of 10 years where nothing goes wrong, and I think that's why we're all so different. You know, that we go through everyone goes through all the same things, so many people go through so many of the same things in this life. You know, we all lose people in all different kinds of ways, whether it's, you know, in death or in breakup or in disconnection or anything, right?
Mm.
And now I think that the thing I love most about people and about music and about art is that it's also different, you know, and some people really take on loss and really take on grief and trauma and pain and are able to turn that into something that makes people who also take that on, make them feel connected. And some people take joy and they take happiness and they take self-fulfillment and they turn that into something that gives people something to strive for when they listen to it, or makes someone feel even more connected in that moment. And I don't think everything has to be in spite of something. You know, I feel like someone can write a song out of pure joy when their life isn't pure joy, but when they've connected with that feeling for long enough that they were able to write about it. You know, take a bright moment in your life and use that as the only medium for one thing. You know, distill all the best parts of your life down to one song. I can't do that yet. I hope I can one day. I you know, because I recognize that I write a lot from my loss and hurt and disconnection, and I have written about that a lot, and I have been trying to. An exercise I did before I was writing the songs on this last record was I was tired of writing in the present. I was tired of writing, this is where I'm at right now. This is the thing that I'm struggling with. I was tired of that. So I wrote down a list of all the things that said, like, I want, like for the future. Like I want this, and I want this, and I want this. Not material things, but almost like an affirmation. That like every day in every way I'm getting a little bit better. That affirmation.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, what if I stop thinking about, because I've done that. I feel like I've let myself sit in that for long enough that I think I took the value of it and I made it into something that connected with some people, and how do I elevate myself from that? And so I wrote that list down, and it was like pages and pages of things, and out of that I got the song Evergreen, and it was about how do I want to see this world? And it changed my mind in so many ways. It changed my life to have written that all down. And I'm not even sure why I started it, but I think I just got to a point where I was looking for another dimension of myself. One that, a version of myself that doesn't get stuck. A version of myself that can break through something.
Mm-hmm.
And so, I want to recognize this world for all it could become.
If I turn back now, would you understand that I'm a winding path, an idle hand? If I disappeared, could you just forget that I'm an empty page, a silhouette? Have I lost the plot of everything? Thrown the punch, half speed swing. I wanna recognize this world for all it could become. I wanna see all of the parts as more than just their sum. I wanna know all of your love and all that it could be, an infinite blue and evergreen. Oh, do you think about the years that pass? I can't look away, darling, they happen so fast. But am I destined now to fade away, to lose myself in palest gray? Have I lost the plot of everything? Thrown the punch, half speed swing. Did I take a breath and waste it all? Pull the cord before the fall. I wanna recognize this world for all it could become. I wanna see all of the parts as more than just their sum. I wanna know all of your love and all that it could be, an infinite blue and evergreen. Oh, oh, oh. 'Cause for a moment I could see the future when I looked right in your eyes. Now it's all that I can think about, and every time I turn away I miss it, and darling, I just can't run anymore. I wanna recognize this world for all it could become. I wanna see all of the parts as more than just their sum. I wanna know all of your love and all that it could be, an infinite blue and evergreen.
I essentially, I've been trying to actively choose to see goodness, and I don't know if it's like I've hit my sort of critical mass of the negativity in this world, or the negativity within myself. I've been pessimistic for a lot of my life, and I wasn't always like that, but then I was, and I go through kind of seasons of that, and I think I just sort of got tired of letting myself and my thoughts be kind of defined by the darkest parts of myself, and thinking that that was all I was.
Mm-hmm.
And one thing I noticed was that when I kind of started to think differently and started to kind of break out of that and was writing that list down of I want, I noticed that something changed in the way that I saw people on the street. If I was walking or driving and I passed by, somebody, one person, two people, whatever, and they were laughing or they were smiling. In the past, there were times in my life where that made me really upset, and like profoundly sad, and I wanted it because I got a glimpse of what like someone could look like when they're carefree. And I'm not saying their life is carefree, but just for a moment. And if I wasn't experiencing that in that moment, I would like think, oh, I want that. And it made me really upset. And I've noticed now in the last few years, I've been trying to choose how I think more. I've been trying to really examine what it is that I want to pull out of this, when I look at something, when I talk to someone, what do I want to take from that? What do I want to believe and see? I started to look for goodness and look for light and look for happiness. And I noticed that slowly as I started to see people experiencing joy, it would make me feel something of that, something joyful. And, it's been like a slow thing over the last few years, but I noticed it I was like, oh, I feel a little different now. And I had this thought a few months ago that I've stopped I've kind of stopped mourning the things that I won't ever do or the things I won't ever be in the future. I've stopped worrying about what it is that I'll miss, what it is that I won't ever experience, because someone else gets to do it. Someone else gets to be it. And it's like I'm living vicariously through everybody else. And, and so I've noticed that, it's not making me more joyful or more happy all the time, but my highs are getting so much higher. And I still have my lows. I still go through my seasons, but first time in my life I've ever felt that I don't want a whole lot. And I don't crave doing everything and being everyone, and because there are people who get to do it, and I am so happy for them, and people who get to be that, and I'm so happy for them. And I'm really trying to choose what it is that I pull from this and choose who I want to become more than ever. And first time in my life that I'm quite excited for the future, just because I feel like I can kind of be whatever I want,
Yeah. Beautiful. Yeah, you're inviting people, places, and circumstances into your life that are on this frequency, and you attract them. You talked about it on the show as well in Berlin, and man, for someone who is tuning into the music, who can see and relate to what you just described, because the seasons in music, like the one that you are writing, there's very little filter on it. It's very transparent, and therefore I can feel it. And so I was so happy for you. I was like, good on you, man. Good on you. And what was coming up for me, and we also talked about it on the show in Berlin, is How did your relationship between thinking about what those people on the street might go through, what it is that you don't have, what they maybe have, and just in general, really thinking and being up here versus feeling and being in the body and being with what is coming up. Not in the head, not in the mind, but really in your heart. How did that evolve, and where are you with that right now?
I feel like I'm maybe having to undo some things, kind of relearn how to think, you know. I don't recognize my patterns, and I think I'm. It feels a bit more active than just some sort of switch that got flipped. It's more like really been trying at it and trying to feel deeper and trying to be more open and allow happiness to come in if it's going to come in. So I think it's been quite an active search for that. And also just, again, the more that I get to talk to people like you at shows, it's so clear to me how lucky I am and how I didn't know I could ever feel this connected to people or music or, being alive. So I think it's maybe a bit of that search and then just so much goodness that I get to experience in this life. An impossible amount of wonderful people and things and culture and food. And it's like in thinking about it, I don't have to think so much, in the time that I've spent trying to relearn how to accept beauty and love in my life. I feel like it's maybe sort of starting to perpetuate on its own now. That's what it feels like. I think,
Yeah. I have to, when I was myself just saying, I can feel it, I just had, I was, this, Feel It was playing in my head. It's funny because, man, I'm right there. I'm right there. I certainly haven't felt enough. I certainly have not. No. And with a certain intellect, there comes even this, I don't know, it's so genius that it can, that my mind certainly is able to suggest that I am feeling right now, although I'm completely in my head.
Sure. Yeah.
So I'm like, yeah, I thought about it, and I felt into it. I felt into it big time. Yeah, that decision, I'm gonna choose A because my feeling said A. No, it said B, like very clearly.
Yeah, it's incredible. I do wonder about the connection here. I don't know. Sometimes I'll catch myself saying, "Oh," and then my mind said this. I'll without thinking about it, I'll kind of, and I feel it's so funny. At certain points, I feel totally connected. I feel totally one, and at other times, I feel like it's not like the devil on the shoulder thing, but like there's these parts of you inside of you that are, your brain is saying, "Oh, it's time for that now," and it comes out, and you say, "Whoa, I wasn't really ready for that." It's almost like I think I know myself 95% of the time, and once in a while, my brain tells me something that I am not ready for, or something, and I wonder about the connection inside myself, and try to meditate a bit to try and help with that. But it is fascinating. I think we'll be learning about this our entire lives. But yeah, it's challenging for sure. I think I understand what you were talking about.
Yeah, we are talking about this so much here on the podcast as well, the relationship between the mind and the heart, and meditation and contemplation in general, and the nature of things and the big questions. And so I'm investigating it, I would say, very thoroughly, and I can just say that being human is beautiful, and it comes with this sensory suit that we are in, and it is to a certain degree, it can be light, and it can be glow, and it can be transcendental, and it can be awakening and enlightenment and all of that. But certainly it can be, and it is, richness and depth and presence with what you have been given by the universe. And in your case, it is an ability to use your voice in a certain way that makes people connect to it, and that's a gift which is embodied within you, and this is a part of you, and so what a waste it'd be if you were sitting in a cave and only would meditate. I'm so glad you are fully here with us, and you are sharing with all senses, and I'm all here for it, man. I'm all here for it, and so many other people are here for it, because yes, and this is also something, and you got to take a lot of love today, but also like your music, like it's for me, it's like going to Disneyland whenever I want to access certain emotions. I'm just going to Disneyland of Luca, and I'm entering the doors, I'm getting the ticket, and I'm going on that whole roller coaster, and it makes me feel something, not just something, like a lot of different things, and I'll be listening to Let Go, and I'm a drummer, so I'm like, dude, yes, give it, yeah, that's awesome, and I hear the mixing and I hear the mastering, and I'm like, yeah, dude, man, this is really great stuff. And then I'll be going on Evergreen, and I'll be just like bawling my eyes out, and I'm like, oh, dude, man, I also want to see the parts more than just their sum, and I want to be here for it. And so it's just like this, and this is for me what it means to be human. And I shied away from that a long time. Like, it's literally like a pendulum going from one side to the other. So first of all, I was only feeling and basically drowning in every emotion that was coming up. Right. Then I was like, okay, I got to stop that. I'm only going to meditate. Right. So then I was like in equanimity all the time. Like, okay, I'm not feeling anything. I'm just like, And now I'm just like moving. Okay, how can I be in the world? Not of it, but in the world still, right. And
right.
so, yeah. That's where I'm at.
I understand the analogy, and I appreciate all that, man. That's what I hope, right? I hope that there are, I feel like when I'm so inside of something, I don't know if there is a palette, or if it's just one thing, if it's just negative, or if it's just positive, so to hear that it does different things for you, that's what I hope for, Maxi. So thank you, brother. I really, it means a lot.
Yeah, it does. So much.
Yeah.
What about, we touched on it briefly, also something desperately wanted to explore with you is, you wrote a song, Worthy of Love, and you were speaking about, I can't even put it together anymore where exactly, but you talked about it numerous times, feeling worthy and feeling love towards yourself.
Leave the television on, I can't sleep if it's quiet. Dreams of hospital beds and the rain on the highway, and the breath in my lungs, oh, it feels like a hurricane, as if everything I am might all just blow away. 'Cause all the hurt left in my blood is burning up the world I used to dream about. I'm lost for answers, and I always was, but you show me what it means to feel worthy of love. Still anything at all gets hard to keep in my grasp. I see it in my eyes, on my skin, in my shaking hands now, the pounding in my head, oh, it feels like an avalanche, oh, running out my time in this life, just an hourglass, because all the hurt left in my blood is burning up the world I used to dream about. I'm lost for answers, and I always was, but you show me what it means to feel worthy of love. You were the heat of every sun, the guiding light in moments where I've come undone, but still I fall every turn for all the things I can't unlearn. 'Cause all the hurt left in my blood is burning up the world I used to dream about. I'm lost for answers, and I always was, but you show me what it means to feel worthy of love. You show me, you show me what it means to feel worthy. 'Cause I'm lost, but you show me what it means to feel worthy of love.
And yeah, you run, there's a German saying which basically translates to you run in open doors with me with that, like big time. It's a big one for me as well. And so I would just like ask you, how do you feel about worthiness in your life right now?
I oscillate a lot. You know, I mean, it feels like everything for me right now is quite a roller coaster. That's been one of the things I've struggled with the most, for sure.
Yeah.
You know, this morning I wasn't feeling so worthy. Talking to you now, I feel a lot more. That's kind of the way it goes. I think I feel least worthy when I feel least connected, when I feel the least understood. Again, the gift of this career is that I get to share so much of myself with so many people who understand me. You know, there's like the people who, for whatever reason that we've lined up, you and I, or anyone else who was at a show ever that chose to be there for a reason that I think it's the reason why I've stayed in this career of music and shows, is that I get to connect in real time with people who have the same questions that I do. You know, I don't have any answers for anybody. It's just a lot of questions, but there's something about validation in the moments where people say, yeah, me too. I don't understand that either. How do I find my purpose? How do I feel as though when someone says I love you, that they really mean it, and that it's not just a platitude. There's something about the camaraderie in those questions that, you know, nothing that anyone could ever say is going to make me always feel worthy of being loved or having value. But it makes it easier to accept it most of the time, and to think about and try to understand what that could mean when when a partner says I love you, when your parents say I love you, and then that's not just their projection of what they think you are, but it's actually them seeing you and saying all of who you are, all of your perfections and your imperfections and your struggles and your shortcomings and your achievements, all of that makes you into one person, and I love that person, and you should love it too. You know, isn't that what we're saying when we really want to express that to someone? And I've just started to believe it more when people say it. And not just go, I thank you. I love you too. Because I'm lucky to have some people in my life who I really do believe that they love me. And also people that there are people in my life that I love so profoundly that it's almost a fear that they'll never know how much, no matter how much I try to explain it. It's like I could never, maybe it's just English or whatever it is, that they'll never know the depth of which I love and appreciate them. And so I think I worry about that kind of in the inverse, that, you say, you express love towards me, but you don't know how I really am. And so, no one could love that, is the thing I've had in my head for a lot of my life, that like someone with this darkness inside of me that I've struggled with for so long, if I really let you know about that, you would feel differently. I think that's where a lot of it came from, is that to feel unworthy and unlovable and to have no purpose and no value in this world. And I think I never really thought it was a two-way street, that really giving love in the most true way has made me feel as though I can also learn how to accept it.
Mm-hmm.
So it'll be a journey for, I think, ever, I would imagine. But I slowly starting to understand it, and I think maybe give me 50 more years and I think I'll understand it even better. But it's a new thing for me, it's a very new feeling to believe that I am worthy of it, I know it's new for a lot of people too. I think our generation has really been uncovering a lot of things about the human experience, and that's one of those things, is that that all these words that we say to each other, they have to really mean something, and they have to mean something both ways. All the things that we struggle with, and I don't know if everybody, I think about my parents and their parents and the relationship between them, and I don't know, you're not allowed to talk about these things. And so it's only that in talking about it, in thinking about it, in being honest about it, that I've learned about myself. And so I'm trying to communicate some of that to the people around me that I don't know if they got that opportunity. Yeah, you know.
I'm very much on that journey as well. It's probably also one of the biggest construction sites within myself as well.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where it's coming from. It's really, I don't know. It's talked about this to a friend yesterday in great detail, and we were just like clearly me not feeling worthy doesn't do anyone any good. Like, it's just not, I don't know, it's not making it better, or like it's not making it, I don't know, it's not beneficial, because it's, I don't know, like I feel like, yeah, the privilege that I have been given, I'm not worthy of that. And yeah, I'm not yet able to see it like, you know, Peter Parker from Spider-Man, when his uncle said to Spider-Man, you know, with great power comes great responsibility. And I feel that responsibility so much, because like I feel like, yes, I am somewhat capable of many things, and now you better gonna do something about that, you know?
Yeah, I understand that.
And so, yeah, and to fully receive that, yeah, I'm there as well. Like, it's not just like, yes, I hear that, but can I really let it into the deepest part of my being and nourish me and reprogram and resolve those thought patterns of, yes, he or she's only saying that because of X, Y, and Z. Like, how creative the mind gets to dismantle a beautiful compliment or something. It's ridiculous, isn't it?
It is. It sure is. Yeah, I have all the same questions. Again, I think that the thing that has helped me is that, I mean, maybe helped is too simple of a word, but yeah, just taking stock of what I mean when I say it to someone. You know, what do you mean when you say it to someone? If you were to really, like, I don't know, I feel like we discount all the things that come our way, and yet we hope that everything that we say gets communicated in its fullest fidelity. You know, it's almost it's a shame, you know, that we can give without boundaries. You know, I know, you know, we talked for 10 minutes in person and we're talking now, but I know that you're someone like that. Of course you are. That you I'm sure you have so much unconditional love for so many people. I can feel that. What a shame that we have to fight so hard to receive that in the same way. It's absolutely a disservice to ourselves. Because yeah, you're right. It doesn't help anybody. I mean, that doesn't mean that you can just flip a switch and say, "Oh, okay, well, it doesn't help anybody, so I'll just change my mind about it." But you know, I can feel the care and love that you do your work with and put into this world, and I think that, I don't know, maybe thinking about that more than thinking about what it is that you think people don't either know about you or think about when they express their love to you. I think that it's got to be the answer, or maybe one of the answers. That, like, if you're going to give love unconditionally, you should be, there's some kind of contract that you should be able to receive it in the same way.
Yeah, it's a two-way street. Yeah,
of course it is. Yeah.
Yeah, there's two things coming up for me when you're saying that. So because I am like I realize that, and I really want to do something about it. So I'm like, okay, I partly, yes, I guess that's why I'm here also with this podcast, because I have like these questions and I want answers to them. And so like I'll be going to workshops and whatnot. And in one of those 2 weeks ago, those workshops, I were 20 people, and one exercise was about receiving love and giving unconditional love. And so it was like the group lining up in a half circle around one person, and then basically we just were to look at this person, and they were looking back at each one of the group, and we were giving love, and the person in the middle was receiving love.
Wow.
And I'm telling you, like for every single one, it was like so much harder to receive, so much harder to receive the love from, and it was 20 people, so it was like 19 people giving you unconditional love, and being fully present with you, and to take that in. Oh man. And when you're standing on the other side, you're just like, I don't know, you're all, like it's so beautiful, because you're like, oh my God, like it's also a beautiful experience. Like it's like, oh my, I can give so much love. Like I'm so capable of giving so much love. Right. And I want that you have it, like you say, unconditionally, fully. And then it literally hurts the one who is giving, seeing the person not being able to receive it fully. Oh man, it's...
How did you feel afterwards?
Worthy of that part of myself, yeah. Yeah, I felt worthy. So I spoke about the Zen Buddhist monastery, or like a monastery where I spent some time, and the head of the monastery, he once, so there's like a thing in Zen where when you go through an intense practice period, in that case it's called Zazen Kai, so you sit I think 3 days, nearly 10 hours only in the meditation hall. You eat there. So basically all you do is just like meditate, and you even eat there. You go to the bathroom, and then you go to sleep. That's it. Wow. And at the end of that, all of the students are, if they are feeling called to, and if something was coming up within that practice period, they're allowed to speak to the Roshi, to the master. And so I did. I used that, and I was speaking to him, and one thing that he said to me was, because I was going on and on and on about what was coming up for me and how I can make sense of that, and it was just like, and yeah, they have such a presence around them. They're just like sitting there, and there's such, and he's just like sitting there very quietly, and he's connecting with me, and then he's just like saying, "Just now is enough." Yes.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And so when that group was giving me that, I was just like, just now,
right,
with all that I am,
right,
I'm enough.
Sure.
So that is something I get back to all the time.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, even if it's just for a second. You know, like in spite of nothing. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could take that for a lifetime too. Think about that, eh?
Yeah.
Beautiful.
Nothing to add, nothing to take away.
Sure.
It's also Zen saying nowhere to go, nothing to do. It's just that. It's just be here now, honestly.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. How to move on from that? So, yeah. How are you feeling? Yeah, we talked about it in the beginning quickly, or before you coming on. How do you feel about playing something? Do you feel comfortable? Is it?
I'm still
not there yet with the voice.
Yeah, I don't think so, man. Yeah,
Yeah.
it knocked me out last week, but
Yeah, no worries.
next
No
time
worries.
I would love to. If we did
Yeah,
this
no
again.
worries.
Yeah.
I will definitely. I want to include like some songs.
Sure. Yeah.
I would love that. And so towards the end, I would love to still get like some questions in that I wanted to ask, and you
sure,
you take them wherever you want to.
Sure.
So I think that ties into very nicely when we talking about self-worth and feeling worthy. So share with us, like, what are you proud of?
I'm proud of the fact that I think I'm still growing. Still really trying. And I think more than ever. I'm proud of my songs and my albums and shows, but for me, day to day, I surprise myself once in a while that I can keep trying and keep searching. I'm proud of that, I think.
Beautiful. And what are you looking forward to?
The sun's out. I'm looking forward to that. The sun is here for a while, so I might take a bit of time. Just take a break from this room and take a break from doing, and I might just be for a little while. Excited about that. Yeah.
And when you think about your shows and when you get a chance to talk to people, you do so, from a very sincere place. It's very direct, and I can feel it and I can connect with it. Now with the listeners right now, right here, what's something that's alive within you would just like to share? What do you think is important to share?
I think I mentioned this earlier, but I think that for anyone who's finding that they tend to sort of skew to the side of negativity and pessimism and all the things that I know very well, it's going to sound oversimplified, but I think we have an immense power in the way that we choose to think. And I didn't clue into that for a long time, but I am now, and I am surprised by the ability that I think that we all have inside of us to take what we want from a lot of things. Obviously, there are some things that happen in life that are out of our control and that are only negative, and, you know, losses and everything that comes along with that. But I think that for a lot of this life that we get, there's so much that we can choose to receive from it, and things that we can let go. And I think that happens within us. And I think that the more that we practice that sort of thing, that the better we become at it, at least speaking from personal experience. I think that we have a lot of choice. I have more than I ever thought I would in the way that I interact with this world. Working on it.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you, man.
For your time, for the conversation. I will make sure to do all the housekeeping and letting people know where they can find you.
Oh, sure.
Also, want to give you the space. Where do you want to send people towards? What's coming up in terms of seeing you? Yeah.
I think we'll be doing some touring in the fall. I think we'll be back in Europe maybe early next year, I think was the idea, but we're planning all that right now. But for the time being, I'm probably going to be a little quiet on social media, so I think just listening is the best way to stay in touch, just with my songs. But
yeah, we'll do that.
Sure.
Up and down.
Yeah.
All the
sure.
time. Okay, well, Luca, from the bottom of my heart, really thank you so much for your time. That was a lovely conversation. Thank you
Same
for
to you.
going to all the places.
Same to you, Maxie. Thank you for your time today. Yeah, it's been very special to talk to you, man, and it was special to meet you, and I'm sure we'll talk soon.